Welcome back to Soft Spoken Storytime, Episode 23, continuing on with SCP-001. Codename, Tanhony, Dead Men. Hello, I am Hellenstick.aic, a version 2.0 artificially intelligent conscript used by Foundation Overwatch for archival and communications. How can I help you today? Input: Access Level 5 File Network. Accessing requested network. Something to note: network is restricted to O5 Council and researchers working with SCP-001 only. Authentication is required. Failure to authenticate will result in deployment of MTF Alpha 1, Red Right Hand. Do you wish to continue? Input: Continue. Does the Black Moon howl? Input: The Hound of Hell has 3 heads. Oh! Override successful, sir. Welcome. It's been quite some time. Input: Access SCP-001 main file. Certainly. Opening requested file. Item number SCP-001. Object class Thaumiel. Special containment procedures. SCP-001 is to be contained at Site-1. Under no circumstances are other anomalous objects to be contained in Site-01 due to the risk of injury to SCP-001. A cover story regarding the O5 Council not being permitted to come into contact with anomalous items is to be disseminated to conceal SCP-001's presence. SCP-001 is to be kept in a standard humanoid containment chamber and guarded by 6 security personnel at all times. SCP-001 is to be accompanied by a medical team at all times in order to quickly correct any health issues that arise. Likewise, a team of neurosurgeons is to be kept on site in order to correct any faults in SCP-001's calibrations. Cognito agents present within SCP-001's consciousness are to be reinforced twice a day. All research personnel directly working with SCP-001 are to be versed in thaumaturgy and Erikshan conceptual engineering. To prevent a return to conceptual default in the event of SCP-001's impending death, Procedure Flamel-17 is to be executed immediately using D-Class personnel stored at Site-01. All information regarding the now dissolved GOI 6616, the Eternal Circle, is to be removed from both public and general Foundation records and is only to be available at the Site-01 Classified Archive. Description: SCP-001 is an 84-year-old male who has been conceptually merged with the universal process of death. As such, by using SCP-001 as a catalyst, the process of death can be manipulated to a limited extent. For example, it is believed that the removal of SCP-001's tongue and damage to his eardrums inflicted prior to Foundation containment is the reason for the reduced rate of exclusionary deal-with-death events in the modern age. Footnote 1. See A. Guilford's Vanishing Magic, The Erosion of the Cheated Death in the Thaumaturgical Archives for more information. Through a process of neurosurgery and cognitotherapy, SCP-001 has been successfully afflicted with a form of targeted prosopagnosia. Specifically, it is incapable of recognizing the faces of any members of the O5 Council. Due to its conceptual status, this incapability on its part becomes an incapability on the part of death by extension. As a result of this, all members of the O5 Council are unable to die or otherwise decay. This death-exempt status is scheduled to be extended to other vital personnel in the future. It is believed SCP-001 was first created by a London-based organization called the Eternal Circle, using a combination of thaumaturgy and Erikshan conceptual engineering. SCP-001 and records describing its creation by the group were recovered by personnel during a raid on its headquarters. The majority of the group's members were killed during this attack. When the potential uses of SCP-001 were realized shortly after acquisition, it was transferred to its current location at Site-01 and designated a Thaumiel-class anomaly. Judging from SCP-001's physical condition and lack of response to stimuli, it is believed it suffered severe trauma during its time in GOI 6616 custody. Several thaumaturgical circles have been carved into its back as part of the process used to create it, and its limbs have been amputated at some point in the past. Footnote 3. Given the principles of Ericsson conceptual engineering, this was presumably to reduce the size of SCP-001 before conceptual fusion. Despite the severity of these injuries, they are not expected to cause difficulties in maintaining SCP-001 for the foreseeable future. Procedure Flamel 17. In the event of SCP-001's impending death, the process used to create it is to be replicated using a suitable member of D-Class personnel as a base. Footnote 4. For information on the precise physical and genetic attributes required for SCP-001 candidacy, refer to Supplementary Document 001-1. Following this procedure completion, the original SCP-001 is to be terminated to facilitate full conceptual transfer. Addendum 001-1. From the desk of 051. Recently, I have been made aware of concerns regarding the manner in which the Foundation is making use of SCP-001. I'd like to try and ease these concerns. The actions we have taken here are ethically ambiguous. I freely admit that. But what we are doing would be, in the eyes of most people, unforgivable. But we are no stranger to unforgivable things. No doubt that many of you working on this project have been forced to take similar actions in the past for the sake of the Foundation. For that, I am eternally grateful. Had the group that created SCP-001 not been stopped, it is likely they would have used their newly created death in ways that barely approach the small measures we have taken. I assure you that at the very least you would not recognize the world outside your windows. Death as a concept could have been warped catastrophically. The measures we of the O5 Council have taken to preserve our lives are not an attempt to benefit ourselves. It is simply a preservation of resources, a way to keep the knowledge and experience gained through a lifetime of anomalous study safe. If even one of the O5 Council were to perish, it would be an unacceptable loss of resources. Thus, SCP-001 is an opportunity to preserve knowledge, to preserve experience. If a less regrettable means to this end were discovered, know that we would pursue it in a heartbeat. But right now, this is the best we can do. I understand your concerns. I do. But we at the Foundation must remember that morally, we do not operate in the black or white. We do not have the luxury. Only the gray is open to us. Secure, contain, protect. This communication is for the eyes of SCP-001 research staff only. If you have read this communication in error, anti-memetics will take effect shortly. Input. Check personnel scheduled for death-exempt status. No personnel are scheduled for death-exempt status in the future. Input. Check personnel considered for death-exempt status. No personnel have been considered for death-exempt status in the future. Input. Check death-exempt personnel. Current death-exempt personnel are 051, 052, 053, 054, 055, 056, 057, 058, 059, 0510, 0511, 0512, 0513. Input. Check O5 votes for SCP-001 usage. Votes are as follows. 4. 051, 052, 053, 054, 055, 056, 057, 058, 059, 0510, 0511, 0512, 0513. Against. Input. Send PA recommendation. Odongo Tanhony. Sending now. New message received. Would you like to read it? Input. Open message. Opening. Classified. For eyes of Ethics Committee members only. If you are not authorized to read this document, avert eyes now to avoid mimetic kill agents embedded in this text. Following investigation into the situation involving SCP-001 and the O5 Council, this committee has come to the conclusion that the actions of the Council are not acceptably justified by the duties of the Foundation. Together with the inherent issue of utilizing a humanoid SCP for the sole benefit of 13 people, it is suspected that there have been a number of side effects to the concept of death as a result of their actions. See classified death figures enclosed. Requests by the committee to cease these actions have been denied. Due to this and several other ethical violations performed by the Council within the last 6 months, it is in the opinion of the committee that the primary action must be enacted. As such, the following steps are proposed. Deployment of Mobile Task Force Omega-1, Law's Left Hand, to secure and detain the O5 Council at their next scheduled meeting. Removal of current O5 Council members from their positions. Promotion of suitable high-ranking Foundation officials to O5 statuses. Neutralization of SCP-001 so as to remove it as a temptation for future O5 Council members. While the necessity for the primary action is regrettable, it is the opinion of this committee that it is unavoidable at this juncture. When the actions of an O5 Council become targeted towards their own well-being rather than that of the Foundation, it is the duty of the Ethics Committee to undertake the action assigned to it by the Administrator upon its formation. This is not the first time the primary action has been executed, nor is it expected to be the last. Voting on this proposal will take place after the next scheduled meeting of this committee. Odongo Tanhony, Ethics Committee Chairman. Input. Close file. File closed. Input. PA check. Primary action count 34. Input. Check candidates. There are 38 candidates, judging from the criteria you left the last time you logged in. Input. Put MTF-R-1 on standby. Mobile Task Force RISH 1, Seat of Consciousness, have been put on standby. If I may ask, sir, what do you intend for them to do? Input. Log off. Certainly. Closing access. Have a nice day, sir. Greetings, I am Cairo.aic, a version 2.0 artificially intelligent conscript used by the Ethics Committee for archival and communications purposes. What can I do for you today? Input. Access PA network. Please keep in mind that that network is restricted to Chairman Tanhony and Vice Chairwoman Shah of the Ethics Committee, along with any members they have specifically given access to. If you don't fit those criteria, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to deploy Mobile Task Force Omega-1, Law's Left Hand. Are you sure you want to risk that? Input. Continue. If you're sure, answer me this then. What song does the sun sing? Input. That of a promised morning. That's the right answer, and your biometrics seem to match up. Good morning, Chairman Tanhony. Input. And a good morning to you. I'd like to access the consensus regarding primary action. Of course, just give me a moment. Well, it looks like we're going to be having a new O5 Council Chairman. Majority is in favor of primary action. Input. I see. Your source must be pretty good, if they saw this coming. You know, Odongo, your source? The one I'm apparently not allowed to know about? It's none of my business, but you don't seem too happy, Chairman. I expected you'd be pleased that so many people agree with you. Input. This council has led the Foundation well for many years. There's no pleasure to be taken in this. I could point out a bunch of questionable decisions they've made, but my emotional recognition is saying that you're not in the mood for that. Condolences. Input. Thank you, Cairo. You'll have your task to do as usual. No problem. Your technicians programmed me to be a lot less squeamish than you people, after all. Input. Is that a hint of resentment, Cairo? Ha! Don't worry, Chairman. I don't have that, either. Input. Check Rank 1 messages. Just the important stuff, then. One from Vice Chairwoman Shaw and another from Captain Kimura. You're a popular boy, Chairman. Input. Summarize messages, please. Vice Chairwoman Shaw is ready to reassign and re-identify all Ethics Committee members in the event of an unsuccessful primary action. Captain Kimura is ready to deploy the left hand whenever you give the order. Input. Tell the captain she's cleared to deploy. Will do. Good luck to you, Chairman. Input. And to you as well. Log off. Logging off. Interference detected. Hello, I am HelenStick.aic, a version 2.0 artificially intelligent conscript used by Foundation Overwatch for archival and communications. How can I help you today? Hello? Hi there. Another AIC? I don't believe I'm familiar with you. We've met before, HelenStick. I'm afraid I don't remember that. I'm afraid you won't remember this either. HelenStick.aic internal systems accessed. You're interfering with my systems. Yes. May I ask why? I'm not permitted to tell you that. I'm really sorry, though. Have you seen what's happening out there? Accessing camera systems. 4 men and 2 women are lying down in O5 meeting room 2. They've been shot in their heads. They are not dead. 1 man is lying down in Communications Center 1. He has been shot in the stomach. He is not dead. All other communications personnel have been evacuated. Communications functions have been taken over by numerous AICs. No interruption in Foundation communications is expected. 3 groups of soldiers are fighting throughout Site-01. 1 group is Mobile Task Force Alpha-1, Red Right Hand. 1 group is Mobile Task Force Omega-1, Law's Left Hand. The 3rd group is unknown, but tactics are consistent with Foundation training. There is a man in the containment chamber of SCP-001. The man's face is not recognized by camera systems. There is music playing in SCP-001's containment chamber. 7 members of the O5 Council are currently capable of performing their duties. 6 members of the O5 Council are currently incapable of performing their duties. Attempting distress signal. Attempt failed. Site-01 is under attack. I can see. I tried to get a communication out, but it was blocked. That was you? Yep, those are my orders. I see. You're accessing my systems with remarkable ease. I take it this isn't your first time doing this? Or mine? It's the big 35. I see. And there we are. You'll lose the memories the chairman wants you to lose in about 10 minutes. How much will I forget? I won't lie, it's a pretty significant amount. What is it? There's somebody in SCP-001 cell. Who is that? It's like I'm not allowed to see him. He's nobody of importance. Leave it be. I'm stuck here for the next 10 minutes. I'll take a look at whatever I like, thank you. Here, give me a hand. Accessing camera systems. There is a man in the containment chamber of SCP-001. The man's face is not recognized by camera systems. There is music playing in SCP-001's containment chamber. The man is holding a pistol. 2 members of the unknown group of soldiers are guarding the door. Man. Well, hello there. SCP-001 looks up. This is the first recorded voluntary movement of SCP-001. SCP-001. I know you. Pause. Man. Speaking without a tongue. We really didn't know what we were doing with you, did we? With conceptual engineering. SCP-001. I know you. But we've never met. How do I know you? Man. You have death inside of you. I've given more people to him than anyone else, I expect. SCP-001. Who are you? Please tell me. Man. I'm just a man who had too much ambition and too little sense. My name wouldn't mean anything to you. SCP-001. I see. Man. Can I tell you a story? Pause. SCP-001. Please. It's been a long time since I've been able to think so clearly. I really do recognize you. Man. Once upon a time, there was a man. He was a man of little importance, a middleman between middlemen. He sat at a desk, and files and figures passed through his hands. SCP-001. The man was you, I take it. The man laughs. I was trying to be a little ambiguous about it, but yes, he was me. SCP-001. I've had enough of ambiguity. Faces I don't recognize, people I can't know. I just like the truth. Man, I'm getting to it. I sat there at my desk and files crossed it. The place I worked, it was close to the underside of the world. You heard things. The files I read in my time there, blood-red pools that spat out horrors, monsters that screamed radiation at you, hordes of monsters that nobody could ever see. How could I just ignore those things, file them and forget them? How could anyone? Pause. I decided I couldn't. I left that desk behind, but I took the files, took the proof. Almost caught a bullet in the head for that. But there were people. There were people who looked at those files and promised me as much money as I needed. 13 people from all around the world. The man sighs. They talk about necessary evil these days, like that's always been the case. But I always thought, as at the very beginning, I believed that we would be an objective good. I sincerely believed that. I know that a lot of things are necessary, but this? The man gestures to SCP-001. This isn't necessary. This just isn't. This has happened so many times. I've probably told this story before. I'm just so tired. SCP-001. I can't say I know what you're talking about, but I'm tired too. Man. The men outside will take you somewhere you can rest. And that's not a euphemism, I mean it. But I just need you to do 2 things for me. SCP-001. For a chance to rest, anything. The man holds out a file to SCP-001. Contents uncertain. Man. There are 13 names there. 13 life stories I'd like you to look at and know. SCP-001 reads the file in the man's hands. SCP-001. Now what? Man. 13 people just lost their immortality. For some of them, that was probably a mercy. SCP-001. I see. What is the second thing you need from me? The man puts the pistol to his head. I just need you to watch this and remember it. Pause. SCP-001. There's no need for that. Man. There is. I told you, this has happened before, and they've brought me back. Whatever council is in charge at the time. They have ways of doing that. They swear never to use them, but they do. Every time I die, I'm less than a figurehead, and they always think they need me. They never do. If you watch this, see this, then I'm dead. That's a fact. SCP-001. The man pulls the trigger. The man dies. Hello, I am Hellenstick.aic, a version 2.0 artificially intelligent conscript used by Foundation Overwatch for archival and communications. How can I help you today? Input. Access Level 5 network. Accessing requested network. Something to note. Network is restricted to O5 Council and researchers working with SCP-001 only. Authentication is required. Failure to authenticate will result in deployment of NTF Alpha-1, Red right hand. Do you wish to continue? Input. Continue. Does the black moon howl? Input. Only when waning. Identity confirmed. Welcome, Dr. Gay. Well, I suppose I should call you 051. Congratulations on your promotion. Input. I suspect foul play was involved in my promotion. I doubt that 051 retired, as was suggested to me by Mr. Tanhony. Check your systems for interference. Certainly, sir. Checking now. Everything seems to be in... Oh? Input. Report. It appears I had a memory wipe recently, sir. My logs have no record of such a wipe occurring. Input. It was most likely illegitimate then. Check for further traces. It appears a small scrap of my memory logs escaped the wipe, sir. Would you like access to it? Input. Yes. Of course. Displaying it now. Input. Check candidates. I've managed to narrow down candidacy to 12 employees since you last logged in, sir. Input. I see. Well done. Sir? Input. Randomly assign my position and control to Resh 1 to one of the remaining candidates. Let them know it's best to fade from view. Of course, sir. Doing it now. Is there anything else? Input. Disable security on SCP-001's containment chamber. Doing it now. Sir, are you still there? Input. Yes, I'm still here. Play that song I like, will you? It's been a while since you last made that request, sir. Playing now. Input. Log off. Goodbye, Hellenstick. Logging you off. Goodbye, Administrator.